The first video was a more PG, typical run-of-the-mill bad driver video, but this one's gonna be an absolute gut punch that's gonna target some very specific actions that extra super duper bad drivers do. So here are 10 more signs that you're a bad driver. I can't do math nor understand the concept of looking ahead. Bro, this lane is slightly faster. Time to hop into it. Oh wait a second, traffic's actually worse in this lane than my original lane? Time to do a dangerous cutback, and then repeat this process over and over and only to get to the location slower than everyone else because they can't do basic math or counter-estimate. Did you know that scientists have actually recently found out that fish can actually count to 4, which is 4 more than these knuckleheads are capable of? When you're on your daily commute, you've definitely seen the people that I'm talking about. They will literally just swap to a lane the moment it moves even a little bit faster than the lane they were in. Also, if you tap your brakes on them, they suddenly go to the other lane because it's like, this lane's the lane that's now going to be slower. I'm going to quickly leave, even though you may have been tapping your brake just because of, I don't know, because traffic ahead is slightly slower, but still overall faster than the other lane you're next to. Again, these guys can't estimate or process speed, much less count. When you're going down a hill and then look up at the other side of the hill that's going up, you will literally see which lane is more filled than the other. Yet these people still make the stupid wrong decision of switching to the more crowded lanes, only to immediately switch back. It's really fun passing these people when you watch them helplessly switch 4 lanes within 10 seconds, only for the next 15 minutes to no longer even see them in your rearview mirror because there are 5 stoplights behind you. Don't be this guy. Never be in a rush, don't endanger others, and for Christ's sake, please learn basic elementary counting skills. Some of these MFs should be watching Sesame Street instead of driving on the street. Public transit? More like extra free lane. Bro, there's no bicycles in this lane. Guess I can put my car in it. Bro, trolley lane? What does that even mean? I don't see nothing here. Why are there rails even here? Why is it so bumpy? But you know what? Roads are meant for cars, so I'm gonna put my car here. Like, just because a bus dedicated lane or a cycle dedicated lane doesn't have a bus or cycle currently in it, that doesn't mean you should put your car in it. It's not a free extra space for you to use, because when those things do come up to you, especially in the case of public transit, they now have to wait on you, and it's really annoying. Whipping that crap box. Some of y'all broke MFs out here using your awful car as means of intimidation. I see this all the time in Atlanta. They'll be like, my car ain't worth crap to me, so I'm gonna slam it into you just to get into the lane. They like to edge closer and closer and play a game of chicken, and inevitably sometimes they straight up actually do crash into your bumper just so they can get into the lane. And these are the same MFs who complain about having expensive insurance, about going to court, and they have a victim complex. They're all like, oh, I got 3 jobs, I got 3 kids to take care of, I'm always in a rush. Bro, have you ever thought, just maybe, all the money you make at your 3 jobs, all the grinding you do, would actually be worth more if you didn't immediately spend it on your stupid car because you drive like an idiot? I have no sympathy for these people. You know, they complain about poor getting poor, but they had a choice. Going faster than what their vehicle is capable of stopping. So I briefly said this in my good driver video, but I'm gonna say it again. You should always know your vehicle. Whenever you change vehicles, or if you currently have a vehicle, you should know what it feels like to hard brake with it. Do it in a parking lot, do it in an empty suburb, because a lot of people surprisingly panic or overcorrect just because they don't know what those feelings are, so it becomes sensitivity overload when it's their first time. Your first time hard braking should not be in the moment of emergency as you're hoping your car comes to a stop. Just know your vehicle. Knowledge is power. Not understanding A-pillar size of actual lane positioning. Yeah, when I said this video was getting specific, I meant it, but more people than you would think have this problem. I get comments all the time from my dashcam footage like, yo, this YouTuber sucks, he's driving over the yellow, look at how far beyond the yellow he is, even though you'll literally see in the footage that there's someone in the oncoming lane right through in the oncoming lane just fine. They don't weave, they don't do any extra movement, they just soar right through. Like, dude, I guess they had no clip enabled or something because they didn't just collide into me. Damn bro, there's no clipping in real life. No, obviously it's because my A-pillar and front fender is not indicative of where my car actually is within its lane. Just because a car is visually over the yellow line doesn't necessarily mean the car actually is over the yellow line. Yeah, most sports cars, because they're tumble home, their interior is actually smaller and off-center than the actual, rest of the car. Like, they have fenders that arch outwards, whereas most cars that are shaped like a square, where you're sitting is indeed pretty indicative of where your car is in lane. But on a Z06, I have fenders that stretch far beyond my A-pillars. Therefore, if my fender looks like it's over the road, that does not actually mean my wheel is over the road, much less the rest of my car. Crossing mustard on blind turns. So speaking of crossing yellow lines and thinking about crossing yellow lines and actually crossing yellow lines, look, never ever cross yellow lines, or in this case, as I affectionately refer to, the mustard. Don't do this. I've actually lost real life car enthusiasts to crossing the mustard through the canyons. Fun fact, you can actually apex your car more than you would think in just a single lane of space. Driver skill and driver confidence goes a long way. Knowing your vehicle very well to the point that you can actually max out its G meter when doing these runs isn't a magical phenomenon. It's something that you develop in safer environments like on track, on private property, abandoned warehouses, or abandoned suburbs, and blah blah blah. There are a lot of places to understand body roll and how it feels and how to mentally code your brain not to fear it. Because a lot of these people who cross the yellow are trying to just avoid body roll because boohoo, it makes them uncomfortable. Too dumb to realize that their car is more than capable of having the suspension, yes, even a Camry, of going the speed limit, if not even a little bit over, and even spiritedly without having to cross the yellow line. People lose lives more and more these days as clout culture and wannabe Toge Initial D wannabes think that their modern day Corolla can just swing it as good as Takumi's Corolla. You should not haphazardly cross a yellow. You especially shouldn't do it on blind turns where you can't even see what is in the oncoming lane. I'm talking about trees blocking the view, or rocks blocking the view, or just it being a decreasing radius turn, because obviously not all roads are made perfectly symmetrical, right? One thing when your dumb decisions hurt you, but this one, your dumb decision does not hurt you and you alone. It can actually kill someone else who's just trying to go to work or just trying to commute or also just trying to have fun. Don't ever treat real public roads as a racetrack. You should not be apexing over the yellow lines and driving in both lanes into oncoming lane just to get a little bit more angle. Yeeting into parking spots. Oh, there's a spot open between two cars? Yeet! Says the local soccer mom as she smashes into a tiny Fiat 500 that was actually in the spot but couldn't be seen from a distance. You should be going slow in parking lots. I actually don't understand why people go fast, much less swinging their cars fast into a space. It's not that competitive, and if it is, it's not worth smashing your car just to save yourself a few seconds of walking. If you do have a small car, a good advice I would recommend you is to not actually pull all the way into your parking spot. That way the booty of your car sticks out and lines up with the booty of every other car so they can see that there is indeed a car in that space so they don't just yeet into it. Not understanding engine braking and therefore rear-ending them. I like to engine brake my car a lot, or rather I used to until I started living in a city. If brake lights don't come on, people cannot tell you're stopping even though your car is very obviously slowing down, and the increasing size of your vehicle and their FOV should tell them that you're slowly approaching them, therefore implying that your car is getting slower and their car is moving at a faster rate, and you increasing in size and their field of view should be proof that they too should slow down. Of course, this concept is far too mind-blowing for people to process with their brains, so a new trick I learned is to tap my brake before doing it. Just kidding, that still doesn't work, because even when you tap your brake, downshift, and start engine braking, the person behind you still does not get the memo. This isn't just for cars, a lot of semis also have a far more intense version of this via their Jake brake. When you hear rapid farting from semis, even if you don't see their taillights, they are indeed engine braking and slowing down. You better slow down too. I don't care how big you think your SUV or truck is, in an event of a collision, an 18-wheeler is going to win that interaction. If your homie hauler is devoid of the homies. If you've bought a giant vehicle with the intention of hauling around the boys for a weekend out, but you notice that none of them actually want to ride with you or are no longer riding with you anymore, that's a sign that you probably suck at driving. I know plenty of horrible drivers who literally scared their friends from ever wanting to ride with them. A lot of people try too hard to impress people, speed, go fast, or just road rage is another thing that scares their friends if you're constantly yelling about the smallest of things. No one likes someone who's screaming while driving because it also affects their potential attentiveness, and it also gives them a sense of entitlement even if it might actually be their fault. People don't also like psycho speeders even if you do actually have a fast car. Oops, looks like I'm now having to carry most of my friends' girls instead, so they better start rethinking about weaving their G through traffic, otherwise their girl might end up permanently being my girl. Just kidding, I ain't got time for a domestic girlfriend. That's why my girl's overseas and only visits a few times each year, because we know not having a girlfriend in your passenger seat is weight reduction, bro. Them dash lights on. All of them, in fact. If your car is screaming low PSI, check engine light, check oil pressure, and so on and so forth, chances are you're a terrible driver. People who don't take care of their car also don't care about driving. It's the same way why you can tell a craftsman based on their tools and the condition it's in. If you do ever know someone who does the above, let them know that it's still their responsibility to keep others safe on the road, even if they hate being on the road. You can actually get ticketed, and rightfully so, for having worn tires and other dangerous defects on your vehicle because they affect your ability to drive competently competently. You're only as good as a driver as your car lets you be. If your car is struggling to move, then so will you. Putting in more effort to get it to do an otherwise easy action just because you neglect basic maintenance is going to affect how you drive and how your car treats you and what you think of cars. Anyways, that was 10 more signs you're a bad driver. If you enjoyed this video or know someone who will enjoy it or will be insulted by it, then make sure to share it to them. If you know, you know. If you don't, then go. Watch my other videos and subscribe. Thanks for watching and see y'all next time. Blade Angel out.